Welcome back. State softball has returned to North Mankato and brought with it tens of thousands of fans. Our Aaron Stuvey brings us the attendance numbers and the economic impact that the tournament brings to the area.
An annual tradition, the high school state softball tournament has returned to Caswell Park in North Mankato. Along with all the teams, the tournament also brings in tens of thousands of visitors each year. And the hosts believe that if the weather cooperates, this year could set all-time attendance records.
We're looking at approximately 40,000 visitors or people paying for admission between the 3 days. We're on pace today for about 15,000 people.
That daily number puts more people at Caswell Park than there are residents in North Mankato. And an event of that scale takes more than just cleaning seats and selling hot dogs. The city's maintenance, parks, public works, and administration are all hands on deck all week long. That influence also spreads outside of North Mankato itself. All 32 teams and their fans make the trip every year, staying in hotels, eating at restaurants, and the yearly event is an annual boon for the entire area.
Working with GMG to help connect us to those hotels, as well as all of the businesses, the restaurants, everything like that. It's just such a big economic impact for our community. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it definitely generates millions of dollars into North Mankato and Mankato.
In North Mankato, Aaron Stuvey, KUIC News Now.